All right, let's get started. So let's talk about attraction. Let's talk about attraction. Now, one of the quickest way men destroy attraction is by making his woman his world. This isn't because she doesn't deserve it, but because it moves him away from his purpose. Now, I'm going to explain psychologically why this happens and how masculine men they try to avoid this. And if you're new here, my name is Mitchell. I'm a relationship coach, and in today's live video, I'll be talking about why men lose attraction when you make them your world. Now, let's talk about the first thing, okay? So, a man without a center, loses respect from himself and her. Now, from a psychological standpoint, one of the strongest predictors of long-term attraction and relationship stability is the ability to stay emotionally connected without losing your identity in a relationship. So let's talk about what Tony Robbins says. He says that what makes a relationship works are things in common. What makes a relationship passionate are things that are different. When a man makes his woman his world, he loses his center. Hold on, give me 1 second. Can you guys hear this? I think so. Okay. So when a man makes a woman his world, he loses his center. His opinion tends to soften up. Why? Because he wants to avoid conflict. So he would do things like, well, I'll just stop collecting this, or I just stop doing that, so that it will shut her up, so that she doesn't give me any type of problems. Or she might complain like, well, you go to too many of these X, Y, and Z events, or maybe too many concerts. And so what he would start doing is acquiesce to certain things like, oh, you know what? You're probably right. I am probably going to too many concerts. Well, this would be my last one. And so all this is so that he could avoid conflict and basically get on his hands and knees and basically avoid conflict and avoid confrontation, all because he's trying to please her. It puts you into this people-pleasing mindset, and that's not what she wants. She wants you to be the leader of that relationship. She does not want to be led. But women will constantly test you if you're not able to lead. And whether you are leading or not, she will still test you regardless. And so those tests will constantly come regardless, whether you're a leader or not. Now, if she's head over heels in love with you, chances are she's not going to test you as much. And when she does, the test is a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to spot and a lot easier to quote unquote pass. Or instead of calling it tests, some people call it congruence tests. Anyways, basically, are you the man who she thought you were in the beginning of the relationship? Now that you're getting into, what are you doing? I'm talking about relationships. So if you have any questions right now is a good time. Okay, so his opinions soften up all because he wants to avoid conflict. Now, then another thing that happens is that he starts to try to seek approval. If you're busy as a guy, if you're a busy man, focusing on yourself, becoming the best version of yourself, you wouldn't even have the time to focus on how come she's not giving me any attention, or how come I don't know where she stands right now in her feelings. So like, I need to find out. When you're more busy focusing on yourself, you're not going to have time to worry about whether or not she's going to love you, because you already know she's going to love you. Because why? Because you're a man that can lead yourself. Now, because you're busy paying attention versus trying to get attention from her, basically needing to know where you stand, your emotional state now is a little bit more grounded. What's up, Prime? So now, when your emotional state becomes more grounded, she will test you less, she will like you more, and she will want more of your attention all the time. However, if it's on the flip side of the coin, if your emotional dependence is dependent on her, on how she reacts, your lack of leadership will cause her to pull away. Because when you're no longer leading the relationship, she feels like she has to fill in that role as the quote unquote masculine role in that relationship, and that's not what she wants. A woman just wants to relax. So it's your job as a guy, if you want to have a happy, healthy relationship, you guys have to make sure you're continuing to lead. Okay. And what I'm saying is also, it doesn't mean that you can't have bad times. It doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect all the time. It just means that, well, how fast or how quickly can you get back into your center before you stay in that mess? Because a lot of guys, they kind of give up. They throw their hands up and be like, well, she's been with me 10 years now. I don't really need to do anything. All I have to do is step back and just relax. That's never the case. Okay. It's never the case. Now, a woman who doesn't feel safe around a man who isn't stand firm within himself. She may feel loved by him. That doesn't mean anything. You could love her all you want, but if how she feels about you isn't where it's at, or she isn't feeling led, she's gonna eventually leave. You have to remember, guys, a woman's feelings and women are loyal to her own feelings. You just have to remember that. She's loyal to her own feelings. So, another example. If a woman says that she loves you, or, oh my God, I love you so much, about a week ago, it doesn't mean that she loves you today. Everything has this, whatever she feels is as present as it is right now. She could love you 1 minute, she could hate you the next. That's a fact. And so, a centered man has his own values, his own standards, and his own direction that already existed way before she was ever in a photo or ever in a picture. Now, that's the type of stability that create respect first, attraction second, and then bonding third. And those are the steps, She has to respect you. If she doesn't respect you, she's not going to give any of her time to you. And then if she doesn't have any type of attraction, maybe you're just boring, fun, then you're not going to really bond over anything. So now, number 2, masculine polarity requires direction, not emotional merging. You probably like, what does that mean, Mitchell? Well, let me explain. Masculine and feminine polarity is not about being this tyrant, this control freak of, what a lot of guys feel like they need to do whenever they're talking to his girl or his wife or whatever. They feel like they mistake control and being a tyrant with being assertive. That is not assertive. Matter of fact, people who are a tyrant, people who needs to control the relationship are the most insecure people out there. Now, what I am saying now, it's this masculine and feminine polarity. It's about complementing each other, complementing each other's roles in emotional energy. So what does that mean? Now, masculine energy is about direction. It's about purpose. It's about containment. Feminine energy is about bonding, connecting, expressing, opening up to receive love. So what does that mean then? It means that whenever you're a guy and you're trying to figure out, I don't understand why she hasn't said I love you in a while. It doesn't mean you go and ask her. It just means that, well, you have to figure it out. Like, what is it that I'm not doing or I'm not doing enough of that is causing her to not say I love you as much as she said about a week ago? What is it? The masculine and feminine energy doesn't exist. Okay, if that's what you want to believe. Now, when a man prioritizes bonding the way a woman does, and I do have a question for you too, so hang tight, all right? So when a man prioritizes bonding over bonding the way a woman normally does, constantly texting, being emotionally reassured, oversharing, over-accommodating, he unintentionally steps into the feminine role, which is where the polarity flips. Now, is it Zaldif? What makes you think that masculine and feminine energy does not exist? Now, women open up emotionally when they feel the man has a trajectory. He knows where he's going. He has a purpose. He's not emotionally needy. He could contain himself. He can contain emotions instead of chasing it, like, oh, I need to do something. I need to see her, aka being emotionally regulated. Now, when you keep your mission first and you remain in your center, you invite her feminine self. When you lose your center, she feels crowded. Attraction starts to fade. Leave it up to her to open up. Leave it up to her. Have her come to you about how she feels about herself to you. Your job as a man is to focus on facilitating on keeping her happy and being excited about being with you. What does it mean then? It means that you have to lead, you have to be playful, you have to be fun. And then basically her being with you means that she could be as relaxed as possible. Because why? Girls just want to have fun. Ladies, you already know it. You guys want to have fun. You don't want to have drama. Most of the times, you guys like starting it. Why? It's because you guys like testing us. You ladies like to test us guys to see if we're congruent with ourselves. From the beginning to now to the present and moving forward, you will always constantly test us. Now, opening her up mentally, she will physically open up to you. When a woman feels heard and understood, the legs open. When a woman doesn't, the legs close. So, shout out to Coach Corey Wayne. Now, 90% of the time, you should be the charming James Bond. You shouldn't take things too serious, okay? Being grounded, she will look at you like you're her rock in the ocean. It doesn't mean that you do everything for her now. It just means that you're there to provide her with a sense of certainty. Why? Because, ladies, you already know, you have a lot of uncertainty sometimes and you're unsure of certain things. And when a guy could come up and be like, hey, don't worry, I got this. It's okay. We could do this. We could figure this out together. And he's stepping into the leadership role. Now, making her your world creates anxiety, not love. So one of the most misunderstood ideas in modern dating is that more emotional investment from the guy equals more attraction. Like, I gotta do more. I gotta prove to her that my feelings for her is true. Or I gotta prove to her that I am better than all the other guys. Now, psychology shows the opposite when that happens. When you make her your world, when all the attention is based on her, your happiness depends on her availability. Her mood dictates your emotional stability. And conflicts feels threatening instead of being manageable as a guy. So you don't even know how to manage your own feelings. And it's really unattractive when a guy does that. Now, this creates pressure in your relationship, not intimacy. And when a woman responds to how she responds to this is by pulling back. She steps away. And usually when that does happen, a lot of guys, they step into this, well, I need to do more. So shout out to Coach Corey Wayne for this. And he says that this is the illusion of action. When she pulls away, he feels like he needs to do more to get her attention back. When in reality, you got to match and mirror her actions. Take a step back. If she's not giving you any type of love or any type of attention, pull it back a little bit. It doesn't mean you ignore her. You don't ever ignore her. It just means that you take a step back and allow her to feel something for you, because constantly blowing up her phone, texting her, calling her, seeing where she's at, how she feels about you, is not going to make her want you more. So like I said, it creates pressure in a relationship. It does not create intimacy, and she will pull back. And it's not because she doesn't care when she pulls back. It's not because she doesn't care. It's because you're not really being the man that she wants you to be. You're stepping too much into this feminine energy, and it literally just ruins the sexual polarity. So secure attraction, on the other hand, secure attraction is built on when a woman feels that the man is consistent regardless of her mood. He's consistent. He's like, well, okay, she's just being a little cuckoo right now. I mean, I'm gonna let her be. She already knows it. She's all up in her feels. He's not gonna get perturbed or bothered by that. He's gonna have some fun with it. So his life continues whether she is present or not. He's emotionally solid. He's not reactive. He's responsive. And so that's the type of independence that he could control within himself, that is very calming. Calm is what allows love to complement each other. Because if you think about what masculine energy is about purpose, drive, having goals, a sense of direction. But masculine energy is also very calm. It's not reactive. On the other hand, feminine energy is a little bit more chaotic. So it's a little bit more reactive. Don't know how to control yourself a little bit. It's feminine. So think about it like this too. When a guy yells and screams and complains and talks about his feelings, technically he is more into his feminine. And I'm not saying that guys can't have any feminine energy. It's like we all have it. It's just we need that type of feminine energy to help smooth out the edges of us being too masculine. What's up? Is it Bismo? What's going on, Bismo? So, anyways, that is a type of independence that's very calming. And so that's the sense of energy that she feels safe and comfortable to open up to you. Because when you're calm, it shows that you have things under control. Why do masculine men wear earrings? I don't understand. I'm not sure why. But I would say it's more of a... I wouldn't say attire. What's that? Accessories? It's accessorizing. It's what you like. It's what you do. And it's being confident in what you're wearing. That is the most important thing. And so, because when you're calm, it shows you have things under control. Calm doesn't mean you don't care, though, okay? That's very... I need to state that. Calm doesn't mean you don't care. It just means that you're not as reactive. How to fix your sleep schedule? What's wrong with that? Yo, sleep is so important. I would prioritize that as like one of my first, because if you don't have a good sleep, you're not going to have a good next day. Okay, here's my last thing I want to talk about. Leadership is what allows her to be feminine. Leadership, being able to lead that relationship. So a woman's ability to open up, to bond, and to fully express herself depends on her psychological safety. So how do you make her feel when she's around you? Does she feel safe? Does she feel comfortable? Woman, when she feels safe and comfortable to you, she will start to open up a little bit more. So it's our job to help facilitate that type of safety so that she can feel safe and comfortable to be around us guys. Because we're supposed to be the leader, so we go first. And when we go first, we're leading. And so when we're leading, we got to make sure we lead with confidence. And if you don't know where you're going and you're walking or running around in circles, like maybe she might... Most people will get tricked in the beginning, but eventually people aren't dumb. And so when you're walking around in circles and you're not really knowing where you're going in life, you don't have a purpose, you don't have something that you're set on this earth to do. It's like, well, she feels like, well, you don't really have anything going on. How are you going to be amazing at what you do? How are you going to be able to succeed in this life if you don't really have something and you just go into a job that you don't like, that you complain about every single day and how things are going against you? It's like nobody especially her. She doesn't want to hear that type of bullshit, especially from you guys. So you guys have to figure out what you want to do, what are you good at, and how you're going to be able to provide in that sense. So safety. That safety is carried from his leadership, which allows her to open up, having a sense of direction, having meaning and purpose in life. That's very important. So now when a man leads his life, she doesn't feel pressured to steer the relationship. He doesn't ask her, oh, so what are we? What is this? What are we going to be? Like, now that we've seen each other, like, he will never ask that. Okay. That's more on the feminine side. Let her deal with what relationship label is. All you have to do is focusing on having fun and hanging out, and then y'all hooking up. So when a man leads his life, she doesn't feel pressured. She doesn't feel responsible for his emotional well-being. Why? Because he already has that kind of under control. And so when he has that under control and he's calm, it's really reassuring for her. So she can relax and connect and be vulnerable to open up. For a woman to open up mentally and physically, it's very risky for her. What happens when she has a kid and a guy leaves? What happens? It means that she has to fend for herself. She has to take care of the child herself. And that's a lot more stress on her. So you have to remember, like, woman has a lot more to lose. This is where feminine bonding flourishes, though, okay? This is where feminine bonding flourishes. Women are naturally inclined to connect deeply when they do feel safe around you. Safety comes from knowing, a guy knowing where he wants to go. So this is a man who knows who he is, knows where he's going, and basically he's saying, I'm welcoming you to come join my life. That's what it is. And so the moment the man makes her his purpose, it flips. She's forced into this role of being emotionally regulating his feelings. She has to be the decision maker, and she has to be like the kind of like the stabilizer to make the, like, she doesn't want to be miss conflict management and dealing with you. She just wants to enjoy life with you. And if you don't know how to lead your life, it's not going to be very fun for her. So more often than not, that's why you see a lot of women leave men in relationships. 70 to 75% of all divorces are initiated by women. What does that tell you? Us guys, we're kind of like, you know what? I don't mind being with her. I don't know if they're settling or not. It just means that they're cool, they're content, they're happy. But for her, she is loyal to her feelings. And if she doesn't feel something towards you, she's going to want to leave eventually. And so she's going to be bitchy. She's going to be annoying. And so these are the little things that us guys, we kind of overlook when things happen, and we just call her a bitch. It's like, no, she's acting like this because there's something wrong. And that's assuming that she's a happy, healthy, normal person. Okay? So anyways, the masculine role. Let's talk about the masculine role. Masculine role, and where most women lose attraction when they are placed there. She loses attraction when she has to be the person that has to be the decision maker, the stabilizer, being the person that emotionally regulates his feelings. It's like, no, he should have already figured that out. So, like I said, if you want her to be the leader, make her your therapist, make her your mommy, and have her solve all your problems. Like, that's the quickest way to dry her up. Quickest way. So if you remember this, girls just want to have fun. Just, if there's any takeaway from this, girls just want to have fun. What you're there to do is to help create a romantic, fun-filled, drama-free adventure for her. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video is that a woman should add value to your life, guys. She should add value to your life, not to be the one in the center of your life, not to be your purpose of life. Your job as a man is there to be built, to lead, and to stay rooted into who you are as a person. So everything needs to be solidified, or should be solidifying, or you have an idea of where you want to go before she was ever in the picture. When you do that, the right woman don't feel pushed, or she does not feel pressured, so that she can feel safe to open up to you, to connect, and to follow your leadership. And that's why a masculine man needs to know where he wants to go in his life. He has to have a purpose. And I stress that a lot, because a lot of guys keep coming to me and be like, well, I don't really have anything going on. I just want to be in a relationship. I was like, well, being in a relationship, not having those intact, or at least an idea of it, it's going to cause a lot of friction in your relationship. And so if you want your relationship to constantly be feeling like a battle, then by all means, don't have anything going on for yourself. Don't know where you want to do in your life. And constantly need reassurance. Like, all those behaviors are very unattractive to her. So You know, you can find yourself always, maybe you're good at talking to ladies, but then you find yourself being single most of the time. So anyways, if you haven't done this already though, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys next week. All right.